Welcome, guys. I am Shailendra Kadre, your host as usual, and thanks for joining on this Saturday evening. Okay, so today we are starting statistics from the lecture one, the first lecture of statistics. And before that, around 14 or 15 lectures we had devoted to finishing probability lessons. Okay. So total 15 hours of probability was pretty detailed probability, and I think we have all gone through that. And now I expect you guys to revise it and then do some extra reading and solve some extra problems for internet or from some maths book. Okay. So now today we'll take up some statistics, which will be definitely easier than probability. So, like this is our going to be our syllabus. So, quantitative, qualitative analysis. We'll start from scratch. What are data collection methods? What is population, sample, statistic, parameter, sampling methods? Sampling methods will not go in detail. I will give you one article to read. So, if you are interested further, you can read that article. Okay. So, I'm not taking you through all the sampling methods here because we are not kind of hardcore I'm not teaching hardcore like experimental kind of statistics to you, so that where you collect data and all that. So these methods, I'll give you one article, you can go through that. And then type of sampling methods, application of sampling methods, and there are four type of statistics. So last part is which is there written in the blue, that is more important for us, for data scientist kind of people, like how many types of statistics are there, and then which one which concepts are used in data science. So those kind of things are more important for data scientists. So we'll keep our journey applied and practical as far as possible. And as usual, like you guys, Amit, Gajendra, and Karthik, you can stop me in between wherever you want, and you can ask your questions. Okay.
Sure,
So
sir.
you can stop me wherever you want. Okay. So now I'm taking you to the basic definitions like qualitative and quantitative analysis. So these things you might be hearing right from, say, past, whenever you started your career or whenever you started in engineering or your graduation, you might be hearing this analysis is qualitative type, this is quantitative analysis. So I would like to know the difference, like what is your perception of qualitative and quantitative analysis before we get into some formal definitions. Any one of you, what is qualitative analysis and what is quantitative analysis, guys?
So quantitative, it is based on the numbers. Somewhere it is giving us the exact numbers, or descriptive in numbers. And in qualitative, where we may have uh, the detailed analysis, which is having exact pattern.
Yes, so I think you are very near to that. So quantitative analysis means we deal with hard numbers.
Yep.
This is 100%. This weighs 50 kgs. This kite is flying 250 meters high. Those kind of numbers we deal with. While quantitative means always numbers will be there. Qualitative means this kite is flying very high. We are talking about high. High is not having any number. It is flying, kite is flying very high. So it is qualitative analysis. We are not, it is not tangible. It is flying very high. You know, very high. This person is very good. Okay. So this lady is very beautiful. Or Mona Lisa was one of the most beautiful lady world has ever seen. Those kind of statements are called qualitative analysis. Nothing tangible. But our mind still understand. If kite is flying very high means it will really fly very high and it will look very small, and then lot of like it will be really near to cloud and all that. We understand. But if you want to tell exactly to a scientist and all, the kite is flying 1 kilometer high above the ground. So 1 kilometer high above the ground, people may not understand. A common man will not understand what is one kilometer above the ground. But if you tell him that it is flying near to cloud or it is flying very high, then people will understand it better. So depending on the context, sometime you have to use qualitative analysis and sometime you have to use quantitative analysis. Okay. So now this difference, let us take the right hand side table. So there are some examples of quantitative analysis on the left hand side. 20% of survey respondent brought ice cream today. Means some survey was taken about ice creams and all that. Or maybe there was survey was taken, some like surveyor was standing outside the gate of a supermarket and he was telling what are the things you purchased today. So he found that 20% of the respondent, people who responded to his survey, they brought ice cream. Surely, maybe it was a hot day and something like that. So 20% people bought. It is the example of qualitative analysis. Another example is the average amount spent in ice cream by 500 respondent was $5. So total 500 responders said that they purchased ice cream and the average amount spent on the ice cream was $5. So means they bought some kind of kulfi or very kind of not very costly ice cream, and some which just open the wrapper and you eat it. Okay, those kind of small ice creams. So maybe they were having children or whatever. So average price was 5. Another example is 50% of people in New York strongly enjoy pizza. Another survey was done, and that survey claims that around 50% of people in New York strongly enjoy pizza. Quite possible because pizza, like US people, are mad behind pizza. Okay, so that is one of the quantitative examples right now we are talking. On the average, respondents rate their grocery store a 3.5 out of the 5. Like there was people were asked to give rating out of 5 to their grocery store. So majority of people average rating was given was 3.5. Like when you rate a book or when you rate a food shop in on Zomato or some any food website or TripAdvisor in a so there is a hotel on TripAdvisor and you rate it. So out of 5, some people give 1 rating, some people give 4 ratings, some people give 5 rating. Average rating is 4. And like when I typically search for typically like when I search for a good hotel, like what is my definition of good hotel? The average rating should be more than 4. Out of 5, the average rating should be more than 4. And a lot of people, the average should be taken from a lot of respondents. Like if suppose 4,000 people have responded, given the rating, and still the average rating is above 4, then I consider it as a good rating, and I can go for that restaurant. But rating is 4.5, but only 2 respondent has given ratings. That doesn't have any meaning. Okay, so that kind of things. So these are all quantitative. So quantitative means invariably you will deal with numbers. Now example of qualitative. I brought the ice cream because I saw it when I was in checkout line. I wanted to treat myself. Person might be billing counter, and billing counter there are so many tempting things where will be kept, right? Some candies will be kept, some nice chocolates will be kept, some dry fruits will be kept, so that like while doing like when you are doing the billing, that time also they want you to pick up something and increase your billing amount.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's kept. So this guy saw an ice cream and I check out line and I brought it. So it is a qualitative statement. There is no number. I like a second statement about qualitative analysis. I like a lot of toppings on my pizza: cheese, sauce, pepperoni, and olives. Like everybody, like the young guys, or even our generation, 50-year-old and all those kind of guys. If there is a lot of topping on the pizza, we like it. So when we say lot of toppings, we are not talking about any numbers. So it should be filled with some good toppings, cheese, sauce, pepperoni, olives, maybe tomato, or some other things. So it should be full of that. So we are talking about lot of toppings, but we are not talking about numbers that I want 150 grams or 200 grams of topping on my pizza. Nobody will tell like that. That is qualitative. Another example is the grocery store has good options in general, but the line can be very long, and there are often out of stock on my favorite brands. So, like this guy is talking, on this guy is again making qualitative statement. So there are two important qualitative statement he's making. There are very long queues. Queues are very long, and whatever I like, his favorite items, whatever he likes, maybe some ice creams or some biscuits or some candies or whatever he likes, they are always out of stock. Okay, so that's why he may not go to those. So these are he's talking about all qualitative statements. Then when I say like Amit Parikh is my best friend, I'm not talking about any number. I'm just talking qualitatively, intangible, best friends. Okay. So these now you understand the difference between qualitative and quantitative. And Gajendra, if you are new, that's why I'm telling. Sometime when we are starting statistics, you don't think that it is always numbers, numbers, and numbers. Sometimes it can be very subjective, like or very theoretical also. So today is just an introductory lecture, so it is going to be subjective. Okay, but eventually we'll deal with some numbers, like hard numbers also will deal, because statistics is basically a quantitative science. Okay, so eventually we will deal with numbers, but we should have strong foundation. Okay, so now qualitative data. So like I will read some of it, like you read what is categorical data: gender, religion, marital status, language, social class. Like he's a high class, he belongs to a high society because he's having a lot of money. Those kind of statement, qualification, he is very highly qualified, and the type of instruction, the method of treatment, type of teaching approach. This teacher is a superb teacher. His teaching method is very effective. So those kind of statements are qualitative statements. Problem solving strategies. Okay. So like problem solving strategies are like many. Like people like Rahul Gandhi generally advise that you should lead from front. That is one leadership style. That you should always, when you want to succeed as a leader, then you should lead from front. So those kind of advices are given to. I've heard those kind of advices are being given to Rahul Gandhi. Okay. So these kind of statements are generally qualitative data. Quantitative means what? Age 52 years, height 175 centimeter, weight 120 pounds, income $50,000 per year, university size 25,000 students overall, group size 120 people in the group, self efficiency test scores, like you have written one IQ test. So IQ test maybe that you scored out of 80, you got a IQ score of 80. I'm just giving an example. It may not be realistic. So you got a IQ score of 80. So that is quantitative. Then percentage of lectures attended, like in some your college, 75% attendance was mandatory, but you attended 85% of the lectures. So that is all is quantitative data. Then clinical skills performed, then number of efforts. So those, whenever we number of errors, like number of errors in a software, so those kind of, whenever we deal with numbers, so those, then we are talking about quantitative data. Okay, I'm not stretching it too much. Like I will skip it now. I think better we have understand. We understand. So I will skip these slides now. So like there are some definitive like there are both advantages of qualitative and quantitative. So when you do some qualitative data, you talk kite is flying very high. You can talk in a layman's language. Okay, so qualitative analysis, qualitative things are very easily understood by people with common background. Layman जिसको बोलते हैं ना, common man. So common man can very easily understand when we talk like he is very intelligent, or the kite is flying very high. He is having a lot of money. Like I spent a lot of money today in the market. Like this guy this guy lost his everything in gamble today. So those kind of statements are very easily catch up and understood by common man. But when we talk to any scientist and all that, like when we talk in engineering and science, then we better be quantitative. Okay, so now when we deal with qualitative research, so qualitative research, like first of all, you see right hand side. So the data is unstructured. It may be a picture, it may be sound, or it may be simple a language statement, or so it's unstructured data. Summary, like some summary statement, subjective conclusion, right? About same thing, like if a kid is telling kite is flying high, then it may be a different meaning. And if an adult is telling kite is flying very high, then it may be a different meaning. Now, if a kid is telling that this bag is very heavy, so maybe this bag was only 1.5 kgs, but it was for a kid it was very heavy. But for an adult, 1.5 kg lifting 1.5 kg is nothing. So it is subjective. So qualitative conclusions are always subjective. And qualitative research, when we do qualitative research, when it is done in research is done, so we deal with interviews and focus groups. So I think one of my previous classes, I explained you what is focus groups. We discussed about focus groups, I think, in one of my previous. So if not, I will give you like you note down focus groups, and I would advise you to do some kind of web search and make yourself aware what is the focus group. I'm not taking it right now because it will take us off the track. So when we deal with qualitative research, we deal with more. We take information by talking to an expert. We take interviews and take information and those kind of things. We form some groups and then ask them to do some group discussions. Based on that, we take some information. So this is all these are the methods of qualitative research are like interviews and focus groups. Now let us come to quantitative research. We deal with structured data. So when we are dealing with numbers, either you will fill it in Excel sheet or whatever. Numbers are always structured data. Then when you have numbers, you can do some kind of mathematical analysis. You can do some kind of statistical analysis. Whatever conclusions you draw, they are objective conclusions. Means for you, for Amit, for Gajendra, and for Karthik, it will mean the same. So if I say that I have bought 1 kg of Ratlami sev today, Indian namkeen, Indian snacks. So Ratlami sev is one of the famous Madhya
Yeah.
Pradesh Central India sev. So that is a kind of snack. So we buy. So as I say, I bought 1 kg from the store today. So like Amit will also understand same, Gajendra also will understand same, and Karthik will also understand the same.
Sir, 1 minute. Sorry to interrupt
Yeah,
you. That
yeah.
Jignesh is waiting in the lobby, I guess. He's saying that.
Waiting in the lobby. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So he's in. And when we like survey techniques for qualitative technique or qualitative survey technique, our gathering information is done through interviews and focus groups normally. But we do quantitative research, we do some kind of survey. Then we do some experiments like scientist. If he is doing some quantitative analysis and experiment on chemistry, he will do some experiment in the lab, and then only he will reach his quantitative results. Then if generally we are talking, we want to know how my product is being perceived in the market, or how many what kind of rating people are giving to my product, which I launched 1 month back. So I will do some kind of survey and ask people to give my product rating in a scale of 5. I'll distribute like a small questionnaire to maybe 100 people, and I'll ask them to rate my product based on a rating of 5. So whatever average rating is there, based on that, I'll conclude whether my product is being perceived of good quality or people are not liking my product. So that is the way of quantitative research. Okay. So now adding to it, Data collection methods. So data collection methods now, yeah. So these are the we were I think a lot of discussion we did right now on what is qualitative technique and what is quantitative technique. Now data science. So tell me, guys, data science is a qualitative science or a quantitative science?
It's both, sir. It's a part of qualitative and quantitative.
How can you give how quantitative is very
Quanti
well understood.
yes,
Can
sir.
you give
Data.
one example how it is qualitative also?
So based on this quantitative, I mean, we'll be giving the prediction which will be qualitative. I mean, let's say, I
What
mean,
kind of?
so if I'm reading the data and the normal distribution is there, so I can say that, I mean, in this middle of this, the customer pick is high or the customer flow is high.
Okay, so based on whatever numbers you are getting,
Yeah.
you can draw some kind of qualitative inferences also for your company, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
I like suppose your like profit is like profit amount of profit is your analysis is showing that
Yeah.
profit is more in steel sector.
Yeah.
So then you can advise your broker to invest more, take more, purchase more stocks in steel sector. Okay,
Yes, sir.
those kind of qualitative advice you can give him.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so agreed. But data science and statistics are mainly considered quantitative sciences. But as you said, like you can always draw some qualitative conclusion. Then survey. Qualitative, we are talking about data collection techniques, how data is collected. So for data science, doing any data science or statistical analysis, we need lot of data. So how that data is collected. So I'm not going into detail. So survey, polls, interview, Delphi technique, focus groups, then financial reports of the companies are one good source of data. Sales reports, all public limited have to make their sales report public. So those sales report is a good source of data for us, whether this company is on the upward trajectory or it is going downwards. So then mission statement of a company, vision statement of the company. So mission statement and vision statement. So generally they are qualitative kind of inputs. And of course, internet. So about a company, like if you want to do any research, suppose you want to join, you got an offer from a company and you want to join that company. So before deciding, you will do a lot of internet research, right? You will see Glassdoor reviews, and there are a lot of sites which help you in determining whether whatever salary has been offered to you, that is correct salary or not, and what people think about the people give reviews about that company, their company culture, how are the company bosses behaving with their employees, those kind of information. Lot of tweets or lot of information is available on the internet. That is just one example I'm giving. But if you do any kind of analysis, nowadays internet is one of the primary source of data. Like it is one of the important source of data where you can get some free public data. Okay. Otherwise, like when you want to generate the data, then you will do some experiment, you will do some surveys, you will take some polls, you will take interviews, those kind of things you will do to generate data. Okay. So these are the just I'm giving just example of how the data is being collected. So left hand side, whatever the sources you see, like statistical methods, survey, polls, interview, Delphi techniques, and focus groups. So I would like you to search today what are Delphi technique and what are focus groups. So like you can once you are note down what are Delphi techniques. So you should be aware what are Delphi techniques. I'm not going into detail right now, and what are focus groups. So these are primary sources of data. On the right hand side, secondary sources of data. So secondary sources of data means less important compared to primary. So financial reports, sales reports, government reports. So government also publishes some important reports about industry. A lot of data is available about data of analysis, and data is available about census. A lot of Indian population. What kind of population mix we have? What kind of caste mix we have? What kind of where the people with high net worth people live. So those kind of data is available actually. So those kind of reports are also available, are very important, but they are less important to compare to left hand side methods. Then mission vision statement of the company, internet, and nowadays You might have heard that, like to do some specialized analysis, people buy data from specialized companies like consulting companies. They sell data. Data is a very important commodity these days. So companies sell data. Like if you want very specific data about, say, how Tata Motors is doing, or like how Indian automotive, like you are a foreign investor, so you stay in US and you want to invest in Indian automotive sector. So you want a complete report on with data, like what kind of sales, what kind of profits, what kind of how much different groups have invested. So those kind of very specific data about various industries available in the market. Various consulting companies, top consulting companies, they make this kind of reports with data, and they sell that kind of data at a very high price to you. So this kind of very specialized, so that kind of data may be very reliable compared to whatever you get from internet. So that is also one of the important buying data is also like buying from consulting companies. So that is also one of the important source of data. Okay, so now we are getting into, this was all the general discussion till now. So we are now getting with little technical and more like we are starting our statistics. So our first statistic concept is, what is the difference between population and sample? Guys, I'd like to I would give you first chance to express yourself.
So
What is the difference between population and sample? This
population
is
is
the
the
very basic, yeah, this is the first basic principle to start statistic.
Sample like based on that population is developed. Like in the ERP system, population is ERP. Like PLM application, all these are the sample maintaining, right? Sample is right. It is a we have to create one quality product. Sample should have the quality, but population quality is there, but not too much as samples.
No, you are near, but not exactly. Anyone else like Amit Parekh,
Population
you
is a
want to
Yes,
tell?
sir.
quantity.
Yes, sir. The population is the complete data, the universal data, and sample is the part of that based on the certain criteria we took for
Yeah.
the
So like,
analysis.
see, I want to see, like, I want, I am a kind of a magazine. Suppose I am an editor of a magazine, daily popular magazine. Now I want to write article about Amitabh Bachchan. Okay, so Amitabh Bachchan everybody knows, right? So I want to write an article about Amitabh Bachchan, and I have a specific question in mind. Whether Amitabh Bachchan, we know that Amitabh Bachchan is very popular in Delhi, Bangalore, everywhere. But very few people will know that Amitabh Bachchan is popular in Sikkim or not. That question, nobody will can tell. Nobody knows much whether Amitabh Bachchan, whatever his popularity is in Delhi or Allahabad, same kind of popularity whether Amitabh Bachchan has in Sikkim. Sikkim is a northeast, remote northeast state. So, like a beautiful state actually. I have been there. So it's a very beautiful. I would advise all of you to go there if you have not gone there so far. So, like, I want to see how much, what is Amitabh Bachchan's popularity in Sikkim. Okay, now Sikkim is a full hill terrain, like full hilly state, like it's in Himalaya, like it's like a lot of Himalaya, like it is in Himalayas actually. So a lot of jungles, a lot of hilly terrain, and the entire population of Sikkim is only 8 or 9 lakhs. That's all. Entire population of entire state is only 8 or 9 lakhs, and large part of Sikkim, I think more than 60-70% is jungles. That's what it is. I've seen my eyes only. It is very beautiful. So now tell me, guys. Now, if you want to find, I want to find out whether within these 8 or 9 lakh people in Sikkim, whether Amitabh Bachchan is popular or not. What should be my method to do it, guys? How should I find out?
So
Like,
you
how
will
should I find out? Yeah, tell me.
you will first take the different group of people. I mean, not to everyone you will be asking. You will be just grouping some people based on the certain criteria. to take the
Yeah.
sample, and you will be asking those people that
What do you know about Amitabh Bachchan, right?
yes.
Okay, so now you are told rightly. 8 lakh population, and it is to spread around in jungles and so many other places, hilly terrain, lot of snow everywhere. So I cannot reach the 8 lakh people. And if I do, I'll be bankrupt, right? And within 2-3 years also, I will not be able to find answer to my question if I go to each and every person. So what I'll do? I'll go to Gangtok and some nearby areas. Gangtok is the like kind of capital to capital of Sikkim. I go to Gangtok, and nearby some within 10-20 kilometer area of Gangtok, I'll go to some villages and ask about Amitabh Bachchan, what you know about Amitabh Bachchan. And maybe that out of 8 lakh people, maybe like say 1,000, 1,200 or maybe 2,000 people I'll survey. And based on whatever answer they gives, I'll draw my conclusion whether Amitabh Bachchan is popular or not in Sikkim. If out of those 2,000, suppose I surveyed 2,000 people, 1,800 people knew about Amitabh Bachchan and they told, yes, he's a very big star. I want to see his movies. Like I saw see this and this. So you will say that Amitabh Bachchan is very popular. But out of 2,000 people you asked, only 400 people said that we know Amitabh Bachchan. Then you will say that the popularity of Amitabh Bachchan is not that good in Sikkim. So what you have done? Now here, what is the population and what is the sample? Now tell me, based on this example. In this example, what is population and what is sample?
Yeah, total uh, population of the state or certain area. That is the
That,
population, and
what is sample?
whoever we have surveyed, like
Yes. So
2,000.
now you know the difference between population and sample. So what we have done? We wanted inference, like whether we wanted to know whether about full population, whether Amitabh Bachchan is popular or not in Sikkim. Based on sample, 2,000 people of 2,000 sample would have taken. Then we are talking to them, and based on those results, we are telling yes, it is Amitabh Bachchan is popular or not popular. So what we have done? So what we have achieved by doing this thing, right, guys? See, suppose if I say that based on 2,000 people whoever are talked, they're all almost everybody knows Amitabh Bachchan. So I drawn a conclusion that Amitabh Bachchan is very popular in Sikkim. As popular as in Delhi. If it is 100% people know in Delhi, 100 people no percent no people know in Sikkim also. What I have achieved doing this experiment this way. What I have achieved, guys. What was my objective? What I have achieved?
With less cost and less time spending on the analysis, so we got the analysis that Amitabh Bachchan is
Yes,
famous in.
exactly. So with less cost, less effort, and less time, I surveyed the sample, and based on that, I drawn the conclusion about entire population of Sikkim. I saved a lot of money, I saved a lot of effort, and I saved a lot of time. Because if I have to publish magazine, like I have to publish that article next month, means within this week only I should finish that my survey, and I should be able to give some time to for writing, editing, everything, right? So I saved a lot of time. I saved a lot of resources. I saved a lot of money. I saved a lot of efforts. So that's what is the whole statistics is. Statistics is we work with sample only. We never work with entire population. Very rarely we work with entire population. Generally, statistics means we generally work with only sample. And based on our sample, like conclusions from sample, we draw conclusions about, we generalize those conclusions to population. That's what is the statistical science made for. That's what is statistics. Now you understood. Now tell me, guys, 8 lakh population, suppose 8 lakh population is there for Sikkim. And for this Amitabh Bachchan experiment, I want to see how many people I should survey, so that whatever conclusion I draw from that sample should be reasonably applicable to the population. So how I will decide whether I have to survey 2,000 people, whether I have to survey 50 people, or whether I have to survey 3,000 people. How I will decide that? Population is 8 lakh. That is not going to change. Now my sample, how many people I have to survey in the sample? 50, 2,000, 1,500, 3,000. Tell me how to decide that. How to decide?
Based on the percentage of the population. Like if there's a 1 lakh people, then if I decide the 1% or 0.5%, then there will be 1,000 or 500 people based
It's
on the
not always
population.
percentage. It is not that simple. There are statistical methods to statistics, like statistics, the science of statistics, the maths of statistics gives us some methods and some tools to decide the sample size, right? What should be our right sample size? That is also a mathematical problem. So what should be the right sample size? That also statistics teaches us how to calculate the right sample size. So that if you analyze that sample, your whatever generalization you do about population should be reasonably correct. So how to determine the sample size is also a mathematical problem. Is also a problem of statistics. Statistics teaches us how to determine the right sample size. Okay, so we'll decide like we'll learn how to determine right sample size. Okay, guys. For now, you remember determining right sample size also is a statistical or a mathematical problem. Okay, so now let us go ahead. Now another definition is parameter versus statistic. So
Yes.
one thing is parameter and one versus statistic. So what is parameter and what is statistic, guys? Like if you, I don't want to waste time here because it is something specific, so I don't expect you to know it. So let me go ahead with it. So like when I talk about the whole population, when I talk about whole population, then it is called then it is called parameter. When I talk about whole population, then it is called parameter. Parameter means I'll give you example. Like parameter example. What example I want to give? Like the snowfall in entire Sikkim. Let us take the example of Sikkim. The snowfall in entire Sikkim in past 24 hours was say 50 centimeter. It is a heavy snowfall. So snowfall in entire Sikkim in past 24 hours was 50 centimeter. It's heavy snowfall. Okay. So when I am talking about 50 centimeter snowfall, so 50 centimeter snowfall becomes parameter because I'm talking about the entire population. When I talk something about entire population, then I'm talking about then I call that thing as parameter. So I'm talking there was 50 centimeter snowfall in entire Sikkim in the past 24 hours. So that 50 centimeter of snowfall becomes parameter. And suppose I take Gangtok only, area of Gangtok as a sample of Sikkim. And then if I talk that we took a sample, of Gangtok and found out snowfall there. So their snowfall was around 25 centimeter in past 24. So depending upon that, depending upon my sample, I can say that in like entire Sikkim there might have been this kind of snowfall. Like suppose I'm talking only about Gangtok. I take an example of Gangtok. I talk about snowfall there. So snowfall in Gangtok was 25 centimeters in past 24 hours. So compared to Sikkim, it is called statistic. So when we talk any parameter about any parameter about sample, then it is called statistic. And when we talk any parameter about population, then it is called parameter. Got it, guys?
Yes, sir.
Now see, if I say like another example, I want to any other example, guys? Can you give now with the parameter and statistic? You want to give any other example? Parameter and statistic. Okay, I'll give you one good example.
Like like sir, like in a election, the Ruzan is the static, and the actual result of the election when counting is the
No, not that. So I'll give you a better example. Now, average salary of a person in average annual income of a person in India is around $7,000. Average income, suppose I'm giving example, it's very high for India, but I'm telling one example. Suppose somebody talks, the average income of a person in India is sitting in America, that guy is sitting in America, and he's talking that average income of a person in India is $7,000. Okay, so that 7,000 we are talking about entire India population, and average of entire India population is 77,000 per person, $7,000 per person. So that is statistic or parameter, guys?
It's a parameter, sir.
It's a parameter because we are talking about entire population.
Complete.
Now he takes the example of 100 people living in New York, 100 Indians living in New York.
That's a statistic.
That's the statistic. That is called statistic. So compared to suppose $7,000 per annum, example I am giving. So 7,000 per annum is the population of average Indian person is earning that much. A 100 people group in New York may be earning maybe $60,000 per year, maybe 60,000 per year. Okay, so that is called statistics. So when I talk about sample, then whatever parameter I talk, that is statistic. When I talk about population, whole population, whatever parameter I talk, that is called parameter. So now you got the difference between statistic and parameter.
Yes, sir.
So two concepts we have discussed, population and sample. Population and sample was very obvious, very simple. But something to remember for parameter and statistic. Parameter means population and statistic. No, parameter means population. PP. Remember PP. Parameter population.
Yes, sir.
And SS. PPSS. Statistic sample. Statistic is always attached to sample, and PP parameter is always attached to population. So remember PPSS.
Yeah.
So PP parameter population on statistic sample PPSS. Like that you have to remember it. Okay, it is very confusing otherwise. Now we go like next. Like we talk a little bit in mathematical terms. Like we'll be dealing with mean, standard deviation, proportion, size. We'll be discussing all this. So in statistics, how they are denoted. So like first off, see like mean. Mean, when we talk in sample, it is denoted as X bar. X, see on the mean top, on the left hand side for sample. For sample, when we talk about mean quantity, average quantity, it is denoted by X top, X bar. And in population, when we talk about mean, it is denoted by mu. Similarly, standard deviation, when we talk about sample, it is denoted by capital S. And when we talk about standard deviation of population, it becomes sigma. Then proportion you understand, right? 2 out of 5, 3 out of 6, like that. So proportion, when we talk in sample, it becomes P cap. And proportion, when we talk in population, it becomes P. Size means total size. 8 lakh population of, so 8 lakh is the population of Sikkim. So that 8 lakh I'll denote by capital N. Capital N because population, when I talk, population number when I talk, it is denoted by capital N. And if I talk about a small group of people in Sikkim, I'll denote it by small n. So these are standard things you should remember, standard symbols. Mean, how to denote mean in sample and population, how to denote standard deviation in mean and population, how to denote proportion in sample and population, how to denote size. These are standard throughout statistics. Everyone will use this symbol only. And when we will study our maths, we will also study this symbol only. Okay. So now, like I'm not taking you through this. Then here only once again I have repeated here. See here, statistic. Statistic is attached to sample, right? SS. So X bar. And sample standard deviation, SX. Sample standard deviation. Parameter you see on the right hand side. Population mean is called mu, and sigma is called population standard deviation. Means Greek letter, mu and sigma are Greek letters. Mu and sigma are Greek letters. So Greek letters are always used with parameter. They are used for parameter. They are always used for population. Mu and sigma statistical Greek letters. They are used in connection with population and parameter. And X bar, SX, they are simple English letters. They are used in connection with sample. Okay. So this slide anyway I'll share. So guys, I want to end here because here we are starting a new thing, like little bit we are going on the depth of sampling method and all. So I want to wind up here today. So with these concepts, so I will repeat whatever we have learned. So like we'll go in the first definition. We talked about qualitative and quantitative. I think every one of you understands. Then every one of you understand this. Then we talked about what are some characteristics of quantitative research. So quantitative research will deal with structured data, statistical analysis, and conclusion will be objective. For every person, it will be same. And whatever data collection method for quantitative, survey and experiments. Qualitative research will deal with unstructured data. It can be an image, it can be a sound clip, it can be simple English sentence, those kind of things. We will deal with summaries, we'll deal with subjective conclusion. Means if I say big to one person, so big to one person can be different meaning and another person will have different meaning. Flight is flying very high. To a kid, high meaning will be different, and for an adult, the meaning of high will be different. So it is subjective. And how the data is collected for qualitative methods, interviews and focus groups. Interviews and focus groups. Then these are some data collection methods which I wanted you to tell, and I just gave you a small homework. I asked you to note down what is Delphi technique and what is
Focus group.
Delphi technique and focus groups. You have to, like before, like as soon as this lecture finishes, please Google these two terms, and just 2 minutes it will take. But these are important terms. Try to familiarize with yourself with these terms.
Sure.
Okay. Then primary sources of data we discuss, secondary sources of data. Then we discuss the difference between population and sample. And we also discuss PPSS, population parameter, statistic sample, PPSS. Now, after that, we learned that with population, whenever we talk mean, standard deviation, proportion, size, in connection with population, we always use Greek words, mu, sigma, small p, capital, and Greek words. But when we talk for sample, we use simple English word like X bar, S, P cap, and those kind of words. Okay. So these are the things then you see here also. Parameter we have used Greek words, and statistic we have used simple things. So these are the primary concepts we have discussed today. And then we'll take up to sampling, some sampling methods here, some sampling methods. And then I'm giving you this article to read. You can read at home if you are interested more in sampling methods. I'm not taking these methods in the class. Then I'm discussing why we need so many sampling methods. Why not one sampling method for everything? We need so many. So different purpose, different sampling method. Why that is like that? Then there is not like why is sampling important? Like see, like everything depends on sample. If your sample is good, your conclusions about the population will be good. If your sample is junk, and if your sample does not represent the population, whatever conclusion you draw based on that will be junk. So that is why sample is important. Then type of statistics. So here type of statistics, we'll take up these three type of statistics. So this is very important for us as a data scientist. So what is descriptive? What is inferential? What is prescriptive? So this is all mathematical only. So we should know what comes under descriptive, what comes under inferential, what comes under prescriptive. So this is all grouping of various mathematical concepts only. Grouping of various mathematical concepts. Then we will discuss like all these concepts we'll discuss like mathematical concepts: arithmetic mean, median, mode, harmonic mean, geometric mean, range, mean deviation, standard deviation, quartile deviation. These all discuss terms, basic terms are there for statistics. These are taught in ninth class or 9th class they are taught. So we'll be discussing that. So we are discussing everything from scratch here. So I want you to know this is a box plot. So box plot is very basic to our statistic guys. Like data scientists, you should understand what is how to read a box plot. So like it is a very important tool in data visualization. When we visualize the data, it is also one kind of chart. It is one kind of plot. We call it box plot. So you should be able to read how to read this box plot. So that I'll teach you. So then then what else? Some little bit hypothesis testing. So this is chapter is like going to be more of concepts and basic concepts which are generally covered in ninth level or 10th level kind of standard. So those concepts will be covering in next 1 or 2 lectures. Okay, guys.
Sure, sir.
So expect it more conceptual
Hmm.
and less mathematical.
We'll enjoy this, sir.